Birdstein?
Yeah, he actually belongs to my friend, but
Yeah.
he abandoned her and disowned her, and he just loves me now.
Oh my God, this face is amazing in the
He's
screen. Look at this bird.
yeah.
This is fantastic. I'm doing this. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can do this. Oh, I hope I took a picture. Oh, maybe I can take a picture with my phone. Look at this bird. Oh my God, you're the first bird on the show.
There you go, Birdstein.
Check it out. First bird on Reeds and Weeds. I'm really excited. Okay. I love it. I love it. Hi, Birdstein. Birdstein. Oh my God. Come on. That's amazing. Okay. And this is going to sound maybe dumb, but where in Canada are you? Like if I'm in Michigan, you must be you're in my time zone. So like, are you out in a rural area? Are you near a big city I might know?
I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm actually really close to a very small town called Port Elgin. But where we are living, exactly the spot where we're on a small hobby farm. And yeah, if you look on a map, you'll see that Lake Huron is almost kind of split in two parts, Georgian Bay and Lake Huron. And
Yeah.
between them is a peninsula called the Bruce Peninsula. And we're right at the bottom of the Bruce Peninsula.
Oh, lovely. So you're on the water?
Well, we can be on the water in about a 5-minute walk.
Oh, lovely. Well, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get started
Yeah.
because why not?
Yeah.
So, welcome to Reeds and Weeds.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm with JRR Tokkin, and Birdstein is on his left shoulder. And in case you're just listening to the audio, he has on the coolest glasses, not the bird, but JRR Tokkin. And I'm on Zoom and I can see myself smoking weed reflected in his round reflective glasses. It's very cool.
I like to keep a small air of mystery.
Sure. Hey, keep it big, man. Do whatever. This is going to be such a wonderful conversation. Sage Tower Pub. What's that?
This is my first interview without this.
Oh wow.
You got
well, good. I'm glad you're able to show your whole face. Yeah. Yeah, he was just covering up his face, but nice, has a nice like cannabis emblazoned bandana as a face mask. So it's stylish. It's a stylish safety. So Reeds and Weeds, obviously we smoke weed and talk about books, and Sage Tower Publishing reached out to me and said, hey, have you heard of JRR Tokkin and this book, The Adventures of Great Neblinski-A New Hope? And I said, no, this sounds like a blast. A little gnome who grew up in Sinsemilla and is wise for hundreds of years, and then suddenly comes up onto the surface of the earth and goes on this great adventure. And it's officially coming out May 15th. So
May 11th.
May 11th. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got to get this out there. So I'm very excited, and several things that make this interview so exciting. So I'm going to try to stay focused, but you guys know how I get. Okay. One is on a cursory, just research, Googling of JRR Tokkin, I find out that not only did he write The Adventures of the Great Neblinski, but he also raises dire wolves. Yes, Game of Thrones fans, you heard me. So we have to talk about that because I won't be able to stop thinking about it. And also, how do you become the top antler carver? Is that what it is? The top antler carver in Canada? How does that become something that you win? Is there?
No,
I didn't know about the competitive antler carving world that's going on up there in Canada.
well, there's no real competitions, I don't think. The way it worked out was back in, I think it was 2004. the Ontario Arts Council, the Canadian government, the Canadian Arts Council, the governments of the provincial government of Bavaria, the government of Germany, and there was a few other governments involved and a few other corporations. They did this search, Canada-wide search for 7 Native Americans who were good at art. They wanted to send them to Germany for a festival, a holiday festival that was happening over there. And the purpose was to promote Canada as a serious source of fine art. And at the same time, give Aboriginal artists an opportunity that we normally just would not have. So I was sent with five, I think it was 5 other artists that went over there, and a native, a Cree RCMP officer also joined us. And so in that time, they were searching across Canada for an antler carver, and they contacted me and they said I was the best they were able to find. And once I got to Europe, I realized how not the best I was, to be perfectly honest.
Oh no.
No, those German guys, there's some German guys over there, they're amazing artists. And I spent the following summer, they had me come
So
back.
wait, I have to ask a stupid question.
No stupid questions.
Okay. Are you carving another substance to look like antlers? Or are you using antlers as a substance to carve from?
I'm taking a deer antler
Oh,
and I'm
yes.
carving.
Oh, you're carving something in the end of, oh my gosh. So right now he is holding up a deer antler that's been carved into, what is it? Oh, it's like a, oh, is it like a dragon? Or
It's a guy's face. It's just
is it
won't
face?
focus. Will it?
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm
Holy
sorry.
cow.
I got one of
That
these
is-
webcams. I'm trying to get it to focus.
Oh no, it's
This. Can you see
awesome.
better if I do this?
No, I can see it. I can see it. It's incredible. Now that I know what I'm looking at.
That's a tiny little deer antler. And you
Oh
see the
my
guy's
gosh.
feathers, his feathers are there, and he's got
Yes, oh
the
yes.
crazy cool feathers along the
You guys
side.
have to look this up. I'll put pictures of this up, you guys. This is
Well, this
probably
is one of my smaller things. When you asked me about antlers, I thought I'd bring up a couple of.
oh my gosh, now there's this giant antler
This is a
that's
moose
like
antler.
carved into an eagle.
That's a hawk.
Wow. A
That's a
hawk. Wow.
This one's based on an old Mi'kmaq legend. Mi'kmaq people are Canada's East Coast and United States' New England states.
And I don't remember if I read this about you. Did you say that you were Cree?
No, my mother is Mi'kmaq.
Mi'kmaq. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to be called Micmac, but
Okay.
that just wasn't right.
Right.
So anyway, there's an old story about this hawk that brings fire from the sun and teaches a little girl how to make it, and she saves the life of all the people. She saves the nation. So I take these old legends and I put them into carvings like this, and this was just a character from one of those legends. And I gifted this to my friend. She owns this now, but she was nice enough
Wow.
to let us use it as an example.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. That's amazing. So I think I want to start talking about the book and get to the dire wolves later, because I can dive in and I could ask 1,000 more questions about those antlers in Germany and the tribe and all that, but then we would never talk about the book. So what I realized that in the not in the introduction, in the inspired and written for section right at the beginning where it says written for Max. Yes. Oh, the adventures of good. The art is wonderful. And I love that wall hanging. I really want that wall hanging. So y'all, I'm going to post a picture of this wall hanging. Sage Tower Publishing is doing a contest. Wait, has somebody already won it?
No,
Oh, okay.
I believe the deadline is the 15th.
Oh, okay.
Of May, but they're going to actually do the draw in June, early June sometime. It's
Okay.
The details can be found on www.sagestowerpublishing.com.
Okay, okay.
All the details can be found there.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Well, we looked at that last night, and this is so fun. And let me say, that I think if you are a reader who likes fantasy, anything like Lord of the Rings or anything like that, or if you like kind of madness where you know the fourth wall, that like everything that can happen will happen, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you're a fan of those two or anything in that realm, I think you'll really enjoy the Neblinski story. And so at the beginning, I saw the inspired and written for, but then I kind of forgot about it, started reading. And it wasn't until the very end when you did the you know, here's who JRR Tokkin is. It was about the author, the author of the author.
Yes.
The very, very end when you talked about your friends that kind of saved you and turned you around, and you smoked weed and played. Were you playing Dungeons and Dragons?
We were.
Yes. Okay. So there's this wonderful kind of dedication at the end of the book to his group of friends that he met, and they liked smoking weed and playing Dungeons and Dragons, which everyone can relate to.
We hope,
So
we hope they can. If they can't,
sure, or something like it. Like everybody has, if you can find that thing that you can hang out and do with your friends and smoke weed. I mean, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Some people like sit around and whatever, trim weed with their friends or play disc golf with their friends. But you've got 5 friends that you can smoke weed with and do your thing. Do you know what I mean? Play in a jazz band, like whatever. So that role playing with smoking weed is just. So tell me how you fell in with those guys, because obviously you wrote this whole book and it was inspired by them, and I'm sure the characters were inspired by them. So can you tell me a little bit more about like these guys and why they were important to you, how you fell into hanging out with them?
well, I grew up in a housing project, a really, really rough neighborhood. And
Mm-hmm.
um, you just, most people don't understand how kids can fall into criminal subcultures. It starts with you're just trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
And if you just keep losing coolness, you're not going to stay alive. So, and to be cool, you have to be like the same as the people who are around you, right? You got to be part of it. And I was becoming part of a criminal subculture that was going to get me killed. It certainly was going to get me killed. At the same time, believe it or not, I had a full-time job as a graphic designer for a company. And one day, the fellow I worked with, he came in and he started telling me about this group of people. He was actually making fun of them. Um, these guys they'd make costumes and they'd write stories and they'd go out into these, they'd rent these giant campsites and they'd go and they'd set up sets and they'd build props and they'd go on this crazy fantasy adventure every weekend.
Yeah.
I thought, geez, why are you making fun of that's like the
That's
coolest
the
thing
greatest
I've
thing
ever heard.
ever.
So he turned me on to one of these guys, a phone number, and I contacted the guy and just asked about it. Then I ended up showing up to one of their general meetings, and I got like 2 feet in the door. And this guy just comes out of nowhere and greets me. He says, I've never seen you here before. Welcome. Okay, so this was kind of strange to me because, where I came from, people don't do that. They just don't. They're more flipping you off and using the F word and telling you get the hell out of the neighborhood than welcoming at all. So
Oh yeah, they were just really kind.
yeah, yeah. So I went on a couple of their what they called field trips. These nowadays they call them LARP.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I went on a couple of these and I met a few of these guys that are my book is inspired by, and they invited me to play Dungeons and Dragons with them. Now, I believe that one of them that he was like, I think we can make this guy not violent anymore. Because I certainly was violent. I was a street fighting maniac. I really was. So
Wow.
how he
And what years was this? Because I feel like we're about the same age.
okay, so we're talking 1980. 88 or 89 around there.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Yep.
And so anyway, the very first night, I had to come up with a character. And the one fellow, Peter, the guy is just such a creative genius. He makes me look silly. And
Hmm.
it was his idea for me to play a gnome, a little gnome, only 12 inches tall. And
Yeah.
so I had to take it a little further. Now, gnomes live underground, right? What else is underground? Of course, cannabis was illegal back then. So everything about cannabis was underground. So I thought, hey, I'm going to make this little gnome, and I'm going to call him a gnome because it's just silly to put a G in front of gnome, right? Spell
Yes.
Nome. What's that spell? Nome.
Yeah.
It spells gnome. What do we put?
Yeah. No.
It's with the G, right? So let's give
Yeah.
that G a purpose.
Let's use it. Let's use it.
Right. So I'm going to be a gnome, and so I had to pick my class, right? So the class was magic user. I thought, wow, he's going to get really high, and that's going to inspire him to like do all these enchantments and stuff. And then on top of that, I thought, hey, but what if? What if he was also a holy man, and their religion, the entire religion of his people, was based on a sacred herb? So I had to come up with the name of a god, and I was having a hard time because holy shit, I was buzzing.
Yes.
So
Shit, I'm buzzing.
it's holy shit, I'm buzzing. That's the name.
Holy shit, I'm buzzing.
There he is.
It's so fun. Like as soon as like I love when names are clever or over the top like that. It's just holy shit, I'm buzzing is I think you can build a whole religion around it. I mean, you'd get some followers. You know, if you had the right marketing, it's already kind of happening in some parts of the world. So yeah, I think
on Twitter.
It is.
I have nomies. I don't have homies. I have nomies.
Do you really?
I totally have nomies.
Wait a minute. What is your Twitter? Do you have an Instagram too? What's your Twitter?
I don't. Well, I do have an Instagram, but I don't own a cell phone. I'm dirt poor. So I only have a landline. So my Instagram, I built this thing not knowing that you need a cell phone to post things.
Yes.
Yeah. So it just sits there. I initially made it for my antler art, my stone carvings.
Right. What about the Twitter?
On Twitter, you can find me on Twitter. I'm JRR Tokkin at Mark E.G. Dory 1.
Okay.
Oh, and the mark is uppercase M, lowercase ARK, uppercase EG, uppercase D, lowercase OREY, number 1.
Okay. I'll put that in my notes too. I'll put that in my notes.
So that's how you find it.
Yeah. So when you started hanging out with these guys, then you played with them weekly, couple times a week, or
at least weekly.
At least weekly.
Yeah, we kept it up at least weekly. There was a couple of times there when Max, who was the dungeon master, he had more time off. So we played, I remember one week we played 4 times, and we played into the wee hours all 4 of those times. So we probably 75, 80 hours in that week of just playing that game.
Oh my gosh. And so did you are these guys like, is this a small town? Are these like good old country boys?
Oh, no.
Okay. What are they like?
This is the capital city of Nova Scotia. This is Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And they were all educated. All guys. Roger was he was an upcoming artist, and wanted to be a filmmaker. And was in art college at the time. Steve was a brilliant computer software engineer and computer operator. Peter I spoke about Peter earlier. He was just theatrically the man. He just really should have had an Oscar by now. He just should have, or a Pulitzer Prize winning book or something like this. It's just brilliantly created. Ian was a lost soul, sort of like me. He was instead of being, I was lost in violence and crime. He was lost in just trying to fit in somewhere. And then we had, who else was in there? Max. Max just has an IQ off the charts. I know him. And he didn't play very much. I ended up running a Star Trek game that played with us in that one, but he was the dungeon master, and it was truly him because he had all his players. It was him who said, "Okay, Mark, you can come play. I have my players, but okay, these guys put you in, you can come in," and it went from there. So, and I think
Wow.
I think that's all of the guys that were Steve, Max,
Yeah.
Roger, Ian, Peter. They're there,
Yeah.
the five.
Yeah. So what I'm curious about, so I'm going to try to summarize the book, but I'm going to do it in a very skeletal way. Okay.
No spoilers. Careful with the spoilers.
Well, I'm going to be careful, but I'm going to tell you it's part one. It's called part one. So a lot of times if I read something and it's a big fat cliffhanger, I'm like, what? But it is called part one. So there will be a cliffhanger. But a gnome is sort of kind of kidnapped into the above world and ends up on this adventure where they meet God and smoke a lot of weed and sort of become the leader of a people that hangs out with monsters, and they have to rescue someone, and they meet a huge army and go through a gigantic battle. Oh, and they're also making wine, and it's rollicking good time. So what I am wondering is, were the seeds of this book planted sitting around playing D&D when you started just becoming like into yourself, like settling into yourself and kind of becoming the storyteller to the group? Like, were you the person that told stories and entertained them while you played?
No,
Oh no. Okay,
I
well
wasn't.
tell me. Okay,
That would have been Peter.
okay.
The funniest one amongst us was Ian, the guy who seemed out of place, and
Yes.
he used his wit, which was razor sharp. He used that to fit in, and he taught me comedy. That guy right there, Peter. He taught me. Before Peter, I didn't understand that fantasy stories could even be humorous, or could have references to the modern world that we actually live in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he also taught me that fantasy stories, good fantasy stories, the underlying theme, the underlying message of them should reflect what's going on in our world. So that was his teaching to me. He also taught me a lot about drawing and just being human. Um, Max, Max, I didn't learn a lot from Max except that I was wrong about a lot of people.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's big though.
yeah, yeah,
That's
uh,
a big thing to learn,
yeah.
And so wait a minute, Max. So you've got Max as God, right? In this get dedication. So what the people that we're talking about right now, you're meeting the characters that, can you remind me in the book how he comes to meet all the guys? Like he gets captured by someone, but then rescued by those guys, and suddenly he's like their leader. And I can't quite remember how that exactly happened. So can you remind me of that? Because I have a question about it.
Okay, so he never really. I tried to write him so that he never really thought of himself as the leader. He always looked to Grar. Grar is the scariest one among them.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and that was Steve, the computer software guy. He played Grar.
Yeah.
So okay, so to answer your question, uh, no, he was not the leader, but
Okay.
they end up sort of looking to him for that because he ends up being the smartest one among the group.
Right, right.
He doesn't know how he got captured. He's captured by a group of people from a species called the Doc Alfar, which in my book I loosely translate to the Dark Elves. And I go on later on in the book, I go on to complain that we call them dark elves and say they're evil because he himself, the character, knows dark people and they're not evil. So why are we doing like that's another one
Yes.
of those underlying themes that I
Oh,
tackle.
yes, yes.
So he wakes up and he's hanging from a pole between two of these dark elves, and they've stripped him naked. And he has no idea how he got there, because the last thing he remembers is that he was talking to God in a dream. And let's just say that he gets rescued by some unusual people at that point.
Yes.
And one of them, this is a bit of a spoiler alert, okay? But
Okay, spoiler alert.
one of these unusual people knows something about him, but won't admit to it. And he doesn't know that that unusual person knows it either. But this is what brings them together, truly. If it wasn't for that one person, it may never have happened.
Okay.
And it goes from there. It goes from there to some shtick. I've got some shtick in there. I've got
Yes.
cultural humor in there. I've got like, oh my God. I try to make fun of everybody, including myself in there.
So
Now,
I have to say when
I have to clarify that, but
oh yeah, go ahead.
I don't make fun of anybody in a malicious way. I try to bring the good stereotypes of people and
Yes.
apply them to monsters, species of monsters, you know?
Yes.
He's not black or he's not red. He's kind of green. So
Yes.
there's no
Yes.
green people to complain, right? You know? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and I like to take an idea to the silliest degree to show that it is kind of ridiculous, and I have to say this just so it's recorded. I started reading the book and I emailed JRR to say, hey, I'm excited about this. I'm in the middle of the book. And oh shit. Oh my God. I just had such a stoner moment. I just
good.
like,
No. Something
right,
happened.
right in the middle. I had this whole big concept. Now I'm pissed, and now I'm totally pissed. I'm not really pissed. I'm happy to be here. What is it? Oh my gosh. So yes, there's a bong. I don't have a bong. I just have that little joint. But this was something I wanted. Oh my God. Oh, it was the exaggeration of the characters that made me ask you if you liked Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I randomly sent an email that's like, hey, by the way, do you like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Because that feeling of like, this is ludicrous, and anything can happen now. They could jump planets, they could grow gills. They could you've opened up the universe to whatever is going to happen to this little guy. You're kind of going to go, oh, okay. That was my point, is I got that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy vibe. So I wanted to find out on the timeline of you growing up, you're meeting your Dungeons and Dragon guys, you are, where in there was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Like what year in your development, and what did I was curious about that timeline between when did Direwolves comes in, when did starting to be a writer come in?
That's a whole other book. These are whole other books. All of what these questions you asked me.
I know it is.
Let me have a tote.
Okay.
And I will answer you.
Absolutely.
This one's for my bro Snoop Demi Dog. Here you go.
Oh wow, he has this. He's hitting wax out of this beautiful pipe. It's really nice. Go. Yes. Big cloud of smoke coming at me. And this bird, by the way, there's still a bird on his shoulder. So that's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. Well, that was amazing. I am smoking bubblegum strain from Island Farms. And it is so It's my Saturday morning. What have you got there? You've got live rosin, I can't see it.
LSD.
Oh, what? That's the strain or that's LSD?
Oh no, it's just a strain.
Oh, it's a strain. I'm like, holy cow. Oh, that looks beautiful though.
It's great.
Really rich yellow wax. Nice, nice.
It's actually a live rosin,
Yeah,
like live sauce. Sorry, they call it a sauce.
yeah, yeah.
I like the wax too. I do like the wax.
And do you have friends that are growers? Do you grow or do you go to a store?
I take thousands of seeds and I just throw them all over Ontario. And every once in a while I'll find one. Last year I had a garden.
Yeah.
Kind of good. I grew marijuana. Excuse me, marijuana. MURRAYUAN. That's my buddy Snoop Demi Dog.
Yeah.
He's turning into quite the cannabis gardener.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I added him as a character to my books. His character is Murray Gershwin. I even started a sculpture of him. There, I'll
Oh
show
my gosh. Holy cow. Oh, so wait a minute. So did you draw all the characters?
I do all the art for me.
Oh, so that painting is your painting?
Yeah, I did that. It's like
Oh, that painting is so great. Oh
new.
my gosh. It's fun. I feel like it could either be a kid's book or like a kid's movie,
No,
or
you
a
don't want to
kid's
make it
book.
a kids movie. It gets darker,
It's really violent. Well, at the end, all of a
but
sudden
it gets
there's
even
that
more violent.
yeah, so there's that chapter and I'm like, oh wow, this is just savage all of a sudden.
Oh, so
So that was
in this
look at this.
he'll
What has he
have
got?
in this hand. Well, he doesn't have anything right now. There's nothing there, but he's going to have a pot plant growing there. And in this hand, you see, I already started building his hand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
so
this the gnome or is this a different
he's a
character?
gnome. That's Zverf Neblinski's best friend. Here's Zverf Neblinski.
Oh
Zverf
my
is
gosh,
actually
you
finished.
guys.
Zverf is finished. There he is.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
So this is
You
big.
guys,
I
hold
made
on. You got to hold that up again, this and the bird, so that people will know what I'm talking about. And I'll put it on the Facebook. Here we go. This with the bird. Oh God, it's
try this.
crazy.
That work?
Yep. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So, you guys, the characters are big and crazy. So, Sverf Neblinski is Sverf Neblinski is a foot tall high gnome,
He's almost 12 inches tall.
almost 12 inches high,
Right.
and has like 100 degrees and it's 300 years old and
He's 1,420 years old.
yes, which is no big deal where he's from. It's just the huge, right?
In human terms, it kind of is a big deal. He's like around 49.
Oh goodness. Well, okay. Yeah, it's tough. And Sverf meets up with the first person is Durik, is that right?
All of them at the same time.
Oh, so he meets up with Durik.
He meets up with 3 of the 4 other main characters.
Yes.
Yes.
So suddenly he's sort of taken up by these gigantic monster type dudes who just are basically business partners at a winery. Plus, they rescue people and shit. So
you got it.
That's it. So they bring him into the winery to stay with them. And while this is happening, Sverf Neblinski is sort of communing with God and getting an understanding that he's on a mission. And the God is the holy shit'em-buzzin'.
He is.
Am I right so far? Yep. So then, of course, when they get to the house, he's a foot tall creature in a house that's gigantic and made for like 8-foot tall creatures who are crazy monsters. And so JRR has carved and designed all these characters, and they're just fantastic looking.
Here's one that you meet later on in the book, and let's not talk too much about him.
Okay.
Everything about this guy is very cool, and it's
Okay.
better if you read him.
Okay. Okay.
This is him.
Oh, which one is that?
This is Muskie Ratliff.
Oh, that's Muskie?
There he is.
Oh, I love Muskie.
Yeah, Muskie's dead.
Oh, yeah. So Muskie's like a kind of like a Rastafarian rodent.
He's a Rastafarian.
Rastafarian. And he's a good dude. He's a good dude from the get-go. Great dude. Yeah. I would, yeah.
Let's just leave
Very
it there and let people read about him.
okay. Yes. Also, I wondered when you made up the voices, were those inside jokes? Wait a minute. Which one is the in joke? Which character is that? Is that Grar?
An in-joke is another word for holy man or holy person or priest or cleric.
Oh,
So he is an in-joke, and he's an in-joke of Ulm. Ulm is the god of humor, or so he said. He's the only in-joke of Ulm, and no one has ever talked to Ulm, and he has never really given anybody any proof.
right, right.
But somehow he has stayed alive for almost 400 years, and he's a Sasquatch, and he knows how to talk and
Yeah.
tell jokes, and yeah, he's an interesting character.
Yes.
But that's what an in-joke is. Bjornag,
Oh.
his name is Bjornag, and hold on, I got a scope for a pen too.
Okay. Bjornag, the in joke of Ulm.
Ulm. Yeah.
Bjornag, the in joke of Ulm. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a work in progress.
Oh man. Oh shoot. That's badass. Hold on. Put it back up there. I'm going to take a picture of it real quick.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, so these creatures, here's what's fun about these creatures is they should be big scary creatures, but they're not when they don't want to be. Like they're just
people.
There's people. They're big but they're like, hey, talking to the shopkeeper, hey, what's up, and they're running a business and they're making a deal and they're making a sandwich and they're fine. But when they get hired to kick ass, they're slaughtering hellhounds. And so it's wild. It's a wild ride. So tell me about since I'm now kind of gathering that the characters are maybe like exaggerated aspects of your boys' characters in your Dungeons and Dragon group, right?
Yes.
And so what edges did you want to push out? Like with Durik, I see his main characteristics as like he's loyal and he's kind, and he's kind of a protector and maybe sees himself as a lower status guy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So was that kind of the characteristics that you were trying to give him, or was that just how he came across to me?
Okay.
I'm very curious.
Well, my friend invented it, and I took what my friend used when we played that game, and I tried to insert it into all of our adventures mixed into just one story.
Yes.
I tried to fit him in, and I had to give everybody a lot of flair, and I had to put some drama in there. So there's aspects about Durik's history that Ian did not invent, but what he created was the basis of Durik. And again, I'm afraid to say more because I could create some, spoilers.
Okay. So no spoilers. So let me see how I can ask this without the spoilers. So they get a job when they meet a young lady. They get, and then they kind of have to decide whether or not they're going to take the job. And that decision kind of directs like the whole rest of the book. Oh, there she is. Oh, remind me her name.
No.
No. Okay, I'm
Refresh.
not going to say her name. I'm not going to say her name. They end up in some wild circumstances, very wild circumstances. So when you say it goes a lot darker, tell me why. Like I'm surprised to hear that. Would you say it goes dark but stays lighthearted, or does it go dark like dark?
I like to make you laugh and scare you and make you
Okay.
cry, and with as little time period in between. So I want you from one to another, just like that.
Okay.
It builds up your adrenaline when you're reading, and you can make some really interesting and different possibilities of doing things that way. And in between, you have to tell a story. And but the first formula, you insert as much as possible. Taika Waititi did this, and that guy's brilliant. So I'm glad that I'm doing it too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, this brings me back to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So, when did you start writing, and when did you read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Do you remember?
Okay. When did I start writing? I started writing this book. I was about 27, maybe 26. That's when I first started writing this with a pencil on paper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So have you just been kicking away at it over years?
No, I lost it several times. I lost it in a flood, and then I rewrote it. And I lost it in another flood, and I rewrote it. And the time before that, it was thrown out by a person. It was just destroyed because of spite. And yeah.
Wow. So what made you keep coming back to it?
I had an opportunity.
Oh, wow.
And I just went to bang. Yeah, and did it. Took me
Right on.
9 months. And
Like 9 months, you pretty much start to finish?
Yep.
Wow. Well, I guess you and then how did you find Sage Towers?
Ooh, that's a cool story too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it started off with a self-publishing company, and they hooked me up with a marketing guy, and this guy advised me to go on Twitter and see if I could get the attention of any celebrities. So that's what I did. I started a Twitter account, and on Twitter I learned about these things, these pitch programs, these pitch events. So I tried a few of them, and about 8 months later, this publishing company, Sage's Tower, they contacted me. I am so hot right now. Oh my God. Right? Oh, so
I
anyway.
know. Sometimes it just hits you. Just hits you
No,
right,
I
just
wanna
like a
make
freight
stuff now.
train.
I want to make stuff now. My like that kind of thing.
See, this is the thing about staying focused on this show.
So,
I do too. I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
so anyway, these guys contacted me, and I liked the name because, and that's another story altogether.
Right. I do too.
We got together and we talked, and they went, "Oh, I like your books, and let's," and we signed a contract, and that's pretty much it.
So they're looking for cool books like about like I hear Sage's Tower and I'm like, I know what these books are going to be like. They're probably going to be cool.
Visit
Love
the
it.
website for sure. It's www.sagestower.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, okay, so wait, okay, so we're still talking about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah.
And because,
Yeah,
and
so
you said
funny thing.
writing the
But
book, and yes.
I get this friend, his name is Ian. This is another Ian. This isn't even Ian from the book. This is another guy named Ian.
Okay.
So this guy, he gives me the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the whole set for a Christmas present one year. And I sat on that thing for a whole other year before I even started reading it. And then it just blew my mind.
Right.
It's like, that is like the greatest thing I've ever read, kind of thing. Whoa. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I've read that about 3 or 4 times anyway, that whole thing. I just bought a hardcover compendium, all of it in a hardcover version for my friend
Oh yeah.
I just
We did one of these shows. We did a Reads and Weeds on it a few months ago because it's my boyfriend's like favorite book ever. And so we sat and talked about it. And he was just like, you got to reread it. You got to reread it. And I'm like, oh, I read it a long time ago, you know, but then I didn't have the perspective. If you, you know, we've already talked about this on Reads and Weeds before with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but what's wonderful is once you have a grown-up perspective of like the ridiculousness of bureaucracy and structures and all that, and then you read it and you realize how joyfully mocking and extreme everything is. It's wonderful. So I think we did the Reads and Weeds show and then watched the movie, which I thought the movie was hilarious. And yeah, hilarious. Are you signaling to someone?
It's 4:20.
Oh, it's 4:20. Okay, I can hit this. I can hit this. So you're writing the story, you read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you're developing all these characters. Do your friends know that you're writing all this? Can you hear me?
I totally can hear you. It's 4:20.
I know. He's always setting up his rig. He's like, Shelly. Okay, everybody take a break. It's 4:20. I'm gonna go get some water. Take a break, everybody. Smoke.
I'm doing it too. There it is.
Go smoke. Go smoke. All right. I've even got like, I've got such a hippie thing going right now. I just realized like I have become the grown-up hippie I always knew I had the potential to be, you know? I'm doing my weed podcast with the guy with the parrot, and I've got Nag Champa in my plant burning with a breeze coming through.
Nice.
It's real nice. It's a real nice life. I'm working a farm and we're planting like in the greenhouse right now because it's still pretty cold in Michigan, but we're getting everything ready to plant outside. So it's a real good like feeling being on the farm, all the plants, and it smells good. Everything smells good. Whew, it's a good time. The other thing I spend time on, just FYI, if you are a new listener to the show, is I work with an organization called the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition. And we partner with lastprisonerproject.org. We're trying to identify and advocate for the clemency for cannabis prisoners in Michigan, because even though not a lot of people know this, I guess because I talk about it so much, I feel like everyone must know. But a lot of people think, oh, we legalized cannabis a while ago. Surely there's nobody in prison for cannabis. But there are, there are, and sometimes it's masked with like they had a firearm or they were. It's bullshit. A lot of it's bullshit. So there are people right now still in prison for cannabis charges, and we are working with lawyers and working with the Department of Corrections and lobbying to the governor to turn it around in Michigan. And Last Prisoner Project is the national organization that advocates for prisoner release. So that's what I'm doing with my life right now. And it's good. It's good because the plan is important, and it should not, nobody should be in jail for a lovely plant.
Cool, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, okay. We're back. Happy 420. There's always something to celebrate, you know. It was like May Day. All these girls I knew put flowers in their hair and did little ceremonies. Then it was May the 4th be with you. And then it was Cinco de Mayo. It's 420. It's like, yeah. So okay, we're back. Now what I was curious about, well, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, we can come back to that, of course. Where on this trajectory did dire wolves come in? Like, how are you suddenly a
Okay,
person
so
who raises
that's
dire
an easy
wolves?
question to answer.
Okay.
So, my children wanted a dog, and I was allergic to most dogs I've ever come across. So I came across this breed of dogs that I was not allergic to, and I traded a piece of my art, like that antler I showed you, that moose antler I showed you,
Yeah.
something along that end. I traded for this puppy. So then I had him. He kept escaping. This is a long story. It eventually, yeah, this is a really long story.
Well, so you got the dog and okay, just yeah,
I had to get him a
shorten
friend
it.
so he'd stop. I had to get him a friend so he'd stop escaping. And
Mhm.
the dog that I basically rescued came, they told me she was fixed. She wasn't. I came home from work. I had a pregnant dog,
Yeah.
and I found homes for them. And my kids love the puppies. And it was a very positive experience. So
Mhm.
I just sort of stuck with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it seems beautiful. I mean, are they huge?
Yeah, they can get pretty big. I've personally seen them 170 pounds. I have my breeding male right now, he's about 140, 135 around there, somewhere in there. The female I have out there, she's about 120 pounds. So, they've had puppies who are right now hitting 120 pounds and they're not even a year old, kind of thing.
Wow.
So the size very much varies among them. You can actually see that in if you watch the Game of Thrones and you watch that first, I think it's the first 2 seasons where they use these animals as the puppies for the
Yeah.
dire wolves, right? You can see the variances in sizes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but they're
Yeah,
very
they're
cool and they're
beautiful.
very smart. And
Yeah. And are they, it's, I don't know how to say it, but are they like friendly? Do they get
Absolutely,
along
they're
well with?
crazy
Yeah.
friendly. Oh yeah, they think they're cartoons. They come from me. When I home one, it's already used to be. I've socialized it somewhat. I've even taught it a couple tricks, and
Mhm.
it goes home. That they acclimate very easily, but the owner has to be able to continue that program until the animal is into adulthood. Otherwise, it's all about how you treat your dog. That's another long story. But I also have written an entire care guide that comes with the dog. If you get a dog from me, I give you the care guide to go with it too.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness, that's interesting. I've got friends who are dog trainers that I like heartily refer people to them. And I wonder if is it a book that you can get, or is it
No,
just
no,
something
no,
that
no.
oh, okay.
This is all the information that people put together since the guys who invented these 8 family lines of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Their story starts in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
That's an entire story altogether.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Huh.
all that information that they had, all the people that had their dogs from their kennels, and then the people who, like me, in the late stages of those guys, and then the people that took over, and I'm the pretty much last one of them around here. Yeah, they look a
Wow.
lot like wolves. They really do. Excuse me. They really do look a lot like wolves, but they act like dogs. They're just dogs.
Wow. I love that. That's beautiful. It seems like it would just be wonderful to be around those kind of
Yeah, it is. It's
direwolves.
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they sing. They sing for me. They'll howl. Uh,
Oh, neat.
I keep
That's
my
cool.
female on a leash because we're near a highway, but it's 100-foot leash, and
Okay.
we have a big field that we only us. It's
Yeah,
property we're
yeah.
in, and we run her, and the male won't leave her. He'll stay with her.
Oh,
That's how,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. And they get lots of
Yeah,
affection like that.
yeah.
We're getting
So,
on to. I'm going to soon have to go run them actually.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so we're on schedule. I'm looking at the time here.
okay, okay. So I would love to,
Not that I don't want to stay and hang with you or anything like this. I mean, it's fun and all, right? We're gonna,
oh, no, no,
but
no.
they,
Oh, no,
yeah,
no,
I
no.
gotta
It's
deal with it.
probably,
I
it's
have to.
probably a good idea because if I ask too many more questions, I'm going to give too many spoilers.
Maybe.
I
Stop that.
swear. I know, but I'm trying to think of what are the things. So I was trying, oh, that was important to me, the timeline. I'm like, you were writing, so you started writing a long time ago. You were already doing role-playing games, so you were into fantasy. Hitchhiker's Guide in the Galaxy was probably 15, 20 years into that. Direwolves was somewhere in there, It's interesting just thinking of like the what makes a writer, like when a writer, I'm curious when a writer, how a writer gets to their style. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm curious about how a writer gets to their style, what all has influenced it.
Uh,
Because
I like character actors, people who put voices to the characters.
yes,
The good ones are amazing. So I try to write the way some actors would use that accent.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's sort of how that works. I keep looking here because that's your face. This is the camera. I have a
Yeah.
I have a big screen. I have a big screen. Sorry about
It's
that.
always weird. See, that's what I was saying. Like I used to only do audio, but the pandemic has made it so we weren't going to that studio because that 6 people didn't want to be in a room together, and that's still been weird for a lot of people. So we just got used to doing Zoom, and so what we were talking about earlier, I can't remember if the recording was on yet or not, but it is easy for me to get distracted. And also, if I'm high, it's a little bit easier. And also, if there's video and there's a bird on your shoulder, then it's just, I'm fighting to stay focused, folks. hanging on by a thread. It's really great. So so your friends know about the characters. That's what I was asking you.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They each have autographed copies of the first run on my self-published version that I did.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fun. And I wondered if the characters, like if you gave the characters that were sort of representing those dudes, did you give them like really outrageous inside joke type characteristics?
Yeah, a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, like was one guy really, really gassy?
No, not that, not that. But his character was. He often portrayed the character doing that. So, and again, you're going into, you gotta
Yeah.
watch the spoilers there now.
Okay, spoilers. No. Okay, well then let me ask, I would assume since this is part one, you're in the works with part two already, right?
No, no, part two's finished.
Part two's finished. Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm just giving it one last quick polish.
Okay.
Then I'll hand it over to the publisher. They'll take it from there. They have good editors.
Okay. Next question. Being that I don't think book tours are really happening right now, maybe they've started back up again, but what is like the get the word out plan? Like, are you social media-ing? Are you podcast bouncing around? What you doing?
Well, I'm trying to get on podcasts.
Mhm.
Radio show, Loudweed. There's a link on my Twitter. I can email you the link if you want
Okay.
to that.
Cool.
That was fun. And that's it so far. And Twitter. But I mean,
Okay.
yeah, people on Twitter, they talk, and I sold quite a few books on Twitter. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right now it's just word of mouth. It's different, right? What I did, it's the first one of its kind, really. Really.
Yeah.
So hopefully that niche, I got in there bang right away on that niche.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know.
true.
See
It's
what
true.
happens. We'll see what
Because
happens.
I've been writing little like I want weed children's songs. That's what I have been working on. Like because there's always little songs to teach kids about vegetables and giraffes and trucks and things. And I'm like, why aren't there little songs to teach kids about weed and
Are there songs to teach kids about booze?
about booze?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So there's probably laws in place that are preventing that, maybe, because yeah, I in Canada.
No, but what I'm saying is
can't do
teaching kids about the plant, just like it's a plant, the way you teach a kid about a giraffe or teach a kid about a machine.
in like a health class.
Yeah.
The place to teach people, because I'm sure in my country, in Canada here, I'm sure that they were teaching me that when I was in grade 6, grade 7. They were
Yeah.
in our health class that came along with our phys ed, physical education, gym, all that they taught.
I would just I would
What they
even
called
think
pot was total bullshit. What they were talking about pot, that was like complete lies. What they thought, what they.
well, I was thinking it would be more like in botany or biology, like it would be in a plant class, like botany or lab or
That would be like a
yeah.
science class, yeah. In high
Yeah.
school, maybe. Well, that's a specialization. You go to university.
I guess
Sciences, botany, right? Kind of.
yeah, or something like that. Like it wouldn't be I was thinking about it more just like when you study plants, whenever it is in your life that you study plants. And now I'm realizing that some people don't study plants. I understand that, but I think at some point you have to understand plants to some degree. You have to mow your lawn, you have to eat vegetables, you have to like deal with plants. But if you really like studying plants, then it's a magical plant to study. It's really super fun plant to study. I was just
The
talking to someone.
cannabis bonsai artist.
Well, just like I trim plants constantly and prune plants constantly. I'm always looking at plants. And what's amazing is like this little plant that looks a lot like this little plant, if you consume it in some way, treat your body and brain in completely different ways. And that's kind of magical, because if you take two totally different tomatoes, they still pretty much are like tomatoes, they're or you take two different kinds of grapes, they're still like grapes. But like with cannabis, this cannabis type of plant can be so very, very different to this one. And it's just really magic to look at it and see like, wow, there's magical healing properties inside of that little plant. It's amazing. And when you're working with them, it's very meditative to work with them too, especially outside, I think. So yeah, don't even know what that rant was all about,
I
but
don't know.
no idea. Okay, so we talked about
The cannabis teacher.
what?
You deep inside of you, you want to be a cannabis teacher.
I am.
Deep
I
inside.
I kind of am. It's not even that deep inside. It's kind of right out there. Oh my gosh. Well, this was so very fun. I'm excited. Everybody will soon be able to. Oh, wait a minute. How can they order the book?
You can pre-order it through www.sagestower.com.
Mm-hmm.
Just go there and pre-order it. On the 11th, it will be available. You can just go straight there and order it.
Cool.
You can get it through Barnes and Noble and on Amazon as well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, but I
So,
go straight through the publisher.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because they have, or my website, which is www. Oh, hold on. What is it? Oh, oh my God, I'm so.
Is it JRR?
The Adventures of the Great Neblinski.com.
The Adventures of the Great Neblinski.com. Yes. And I'm excited for y'all to read it and enjoy it. And and this was so fun. And I'm glad Bernstein could stay with us the whole time. What a treat. And I'm excited for you. I'm excited. And thanks so much for your time and for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
And when the next one comes out, we'll talk about that one too. All right.
Sure.
All right. All right. Have fun.
Everyone.
All right. Bye.